wives were at the consignment sale, clothing shop, whatever you call it, kids clothing connection,
Kids Clothes Connection.
VIP night, as they always tend to do.
They're
Get that first pick through the litter.
they're VIPs in our hearts, and
So I was at home and I had been so neck deep in all things Madagascar because that's what my school play is. So I put it on the TV. I was like, I haven't seen this movie in like 20 years.
nice.
I found it online and I found it on some streaming service and I put it on. I fell asleep in 5 minutes. Like 5 minutes, I was out.
Wow.
And then woke up and I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
Yeah, they were still in the zoo when you fell asleep, man. Just gone.
That's right. But hey, almost spring break for me. Get a little bit of relaxation. So
There were growing up. My parents were real good at falling asleep on the couch at night, and I actually one day took a picture of them with my like early smartphone. You know, the first one I ever had, and for I think it was my mom's birthday. Actually, I got it framed.
no, you didn't.
I sure did. It's great too. They're both on like the couch just butted up, just like, not together, but like there's a little space where there's a table, whatever. And mom's on one end of the blanket, dad's passed out on one. The dog is on his stomach too, which is great to
Yeah.
sleep. And I framed it, gave it to him, and it's still hanging in their bathroom.
They
We
still
call it
have the picture.
the River Ridge hipsters. That's
I
what we
love
call
it.
them. Yeah. Is that when I would have to go and wake them up? My dad journaling popped up pretty quickly, but my mom, it would be like just the eyes open real wide and move. It was kind of like, just for a second. And
That's great.
then she wouldn't say a word. She'd just kind of get up, walk up the stairs. Like there was no life behind her eyes. She was so tired.
That's actually a gift though, because I was never the fall asleep on the couch person. Like if I was watching a movie, I wanted to watch it. I was into
Same.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
If I decided I needed to go to bed, I would turn it off. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're similar and your wife is similar to mine, as in they fall asleep on the couch all the time.
Sure do.
I'm probably talking to every married man out there who's listening to this episode going, damn right, this is just simple facts, guys. Thanks for the obvious point out here, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
But in college, the recliner, that was my kryptonite.
Really?
I had a little recliner in the corner and I had just gotten my little puppy dog and I was as lazy as you can imagine.
Nice.
That bad habit, sinful Ryan in college. And I would get home, throw sweats on, lounge back in that recliner with my little river dog sitting right there in between my legs. I wouldn't move for hours, dude. It was so bad. But nowadays, Tess is trying to work on letting me know before she falls asleep, and I go ahead and watch 45 minutes of that episode that we're going to have to go back and watch.
That's a good point. There are times where I'm like, oh, darn, I have to turn it off, because it's just, nope. So
we lost her. We lost her.
We lost her. She's gone. And I know, like, when she doesn't fall asleep and she's like fully engaged, like, oh, this must be really good, actually. Like in a objective sense, like she's really digging this movie.
Tell whether they actually like what you picked to watch.
Definitely. Yeah. The last time I actually really, really remember that happening, we were watching Top Gun Maverick, second one.
I would have bet my life it would be Sinners because you were on such a big
Sinners
kick with that movie.
Y'all think what you want. It's a great movie.
Great.
Yeah, it is. It is great. It's great. But
unique.
Unique is fair. Yeah.
Very unique.
Yeah. No, she definitely didn't fall asleep at Sinners. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, thank you for the correction. Impressive.
Yeah.
That probably just means I talked about it too much, though. That's all right.
No, I mean, we watched it, and Tess hates scary stuff. I wouldn't necessarily, like me personally, I wouldn't say Sinners was like a scary, I'm going to have nightmares movie for me, but for her, that kind of thing could stick in her mind when the lights go out at night, and she's like, oh, right, no. So naturally, I've got to mess with her a little bit.
With all the stuff going there.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like everything gets nice, peaceful, and quiet. I just gotta like jolt in bed or something and scare the bejesus out of her. But
great.
Yeah. Any good movies lately before we move on from this?
Dude,
topic?
I'm just waiting for the Odyssey to come out in July.
I can't wait for that.
You and I are going to see that together, by the way.
Yeah, I want to see that really bad.
It's gonna be awesome.
I think I saw. There's another Thor coming out that is supposed to be like Marvel kind of realized that all their new stuff sucked,
right?
And so they're going back to the Avengers that actually made them money and were the most kick-ass movies you could have watched for 15 years straight.
Check.
And so I was a huge fan of that. I'll probably go watch those. But anyway, got to work through Game of Thrones as well for the third time.
Nice.
Because I'm obsessed. But
yeah.
Anyway.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how tired are you right now? I know it's been a week. 1's the least, 10's the most.
Is that how that works? If you ever meet somebody where 1 is the most tired, don't trust that person.
That's a good point.
But thank you for the clarification. 10 being the most tired.
Absolutely.
Honestly, I'm a big dramatic baby when it comes to this, so I'll probably say like a 6.
Okay.
Like I'm significantly tired enough that like there were plenty of moments throughout the day of like, instead of thinking I get to come see Alex and we get to talk about our Lord and Savior and how important faith is to us. And there were plenty of moments where I was like, I wish I could just lay my head down and go to sleep early. But now I'm here and I'm happy to be here. Truthfully,
love you, brother.
I am. So I whine and I complain, but I'm fine. That being said, everybody has those weeks where it's like, I was on the phone with my wife on the way over here and I told her, as you can tell, she was late for dinner.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. Check.
Our wives are having a girls' night out, so God bless them. I hope pray they have an amazing evening.
I think Luce was like right on time, maybe 5 late. Not bad though.
But you guys are pretty close.
Yes, we are. That's
a little bit further drive for Tess, but I was telling her on the way over here, like after basketball season ended, I was like, I didn't think I'd have weeks like this where there's just something every evening. And it just doesn't seem to stop. And then it's like, the nights are late and the mornings are early and it just adds and adds and adds and builds and builds and builds until you get to, the end of the week. And then we get to pack. So we're blessed enough we get to take a trip, which is great. So by the end of the week, when I'm probably up to a 7 on that scale, I get to pack. And then up to an 8 on that scale when I'm waking up early to drive down to Florida, which again, all worth it. But then I'll get there and get a halfway solid, decent sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Every child sleeps good in a hotel room, right?
Without fail.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
We're going to manifest that. Anyway.
Well then, as our Lord said, Matthew 11:28-30, come to me, all you who are weary and heavy burdened, and I will give you
rest. You set me up. You asked me about how tired I was just to pull that scripture out.
All right, folks. Welcome back to the Catholic Dad Pod. Not in the garage, the kitchen tonight. You all know this 1B set right here. But the 1A is the garage. Let's be real. That's where this place ticks and turns. But 1B does have a really nice copy of A Painting of the Last Supper. It's a great time. Ryan was kind enough to come join me, and we're talking about a little R&R today. So, raise your hand if you're tired right now. Yeah, I know you all are. I'm going to go a modest raise. I'm not exhausted, but, pretty tired.
You said raise your hand. You didn't specify how high to raise
exactly.
it.
And raise your hand if life moves fast. Yep. Raise your hand if you're real busy. Yep. All the stuff. America and our culture here certainly does not really emphasize the importance of rest. We don't do siestas here in America.
I miss it, though. I do miss those.
Yeah. You see the commercials for the trip. Like, you might be on the trip, on that vacation, something you worked really, 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 really hard to earn. But maybe it's really stressful. Maybe it's a ton of headache, on the way there and the way back. Maybe you come back and you're not rested whatsoever, which definitely happens to all of us from time to time. But rest is really important. and not just sleep, actual rest. So I want everybody to take a second and just think like, when was the last time you truly rested? Not just a good night's sleep, but actually rested, felt renewed. What do you think, man? What's your answer to that question?
Thankfully, I can just go back to our past silent retreat because that was just a random day that was divinely timed in my life for me to go to an extra mass that week, get in a confessional, and then sit and, read and be with my Lord, and also got to do it with my family. And so that was a good cup filling, restful day. I will say that. I get the same kind of restful feeling on, a weekend day that like we wake up and my wife and my son and myself we get to cook breakfast and eat, and then we just get to go in the playroom, and then it warms up a little bit and we get to just hang out in the backyard, and then we all have lunch together, and like nothing truly happens throughout that day. But when those days come about, I feel very rested. Those are kind of my favorite types of.
That's 5-star resting right there, brother.
That's that cup is completely filled type of rest, and I don't care how I slept the night before.
Sure,
that's a day that you'll feel rejuvenated because of that.
Absolutely.
And bonus if it happens to be a Sunday and you had mass that morning, it's even better. So
I was just about to say, most of the time, post mass, I feel a little more certainly renewed in a way and rested. There are times where the kids challenge me just enough and might not leave that mass feeling quite as rejuvenated as I was hoping. That's called living the vocation right there.
It's true.
But I definitely, a couple weeks ago, the kids just, slept a little longer, didn't wake up early. Lucy and I got to kind of just hang out in bed and relax, until like 7:30 maybe, which that's sleeping in for us right there. And
you know it.
It was awesome. It was so great.
You don't even know what to do with yourself.
No, I know. Don't get out of that bed. You absolutely have to. That's for sure. It was really nice. It was really nice because during the week, I'm up early doing the gym or running, and uh, Sunday, we have to have the routine to get ready and get to mass. So Saturday is the only chance to do that when it happens like perfectly. It's like making a core memory now. Not even kidding. Yeah. It's so great, that time. In a general sense, man, are you good at resting?
In a general sense, I wouldn't say I am. In a general sense, I've always been good at being lazy.
Okay.
Especially like single years, dating, pre-kids, pre-marriage and living with my beautiful wife. Like I've always been really good at just not doing anything and calling it rest.
Check.
So like I am a little bit ashamed to admit, but I was an absolute slob in college. I was not tidy. You and I were polar opposite on this one.
Yeah.
I was not a tidy person. My room was a mess. My house was a mess. My roommates probably hated me. But you could bet your life savings that if you walked into my house in college, I was resting. I was lounging. I was lazy because my work was done at night and I barely went to class for most of college.
Gotcha.
Truth be told. So
sure.
This stage of my life, am I good at resting? I want to say yes, but truthfully, I'm probably worse than I think I am because you know how it goes. You sit down to rest.
Right.
But then you're like, I need to get to those dishes.
Yeah, sure.
There's a load of laundry. And if it doesn't get done now, it's got to get done later. And I want to rest later. So
yep.
Thankfully, that does often lead to some rest or at least some quality time with my wife.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
That's kind of, you do it at the front end, but yeah, I don't know. I think I'm probably getting worse at it. I'm getting more and more type A of like, I got to get things done the longer that I've been married and welcoming my kid. So
understood.
What about you?
Similar situation here. Just Lucy has made leaps and bounds because she used to be horrible at resting. Like just could not turn off the like, I need to do this thing. I mean, it was hardcore. Now we're both pretty similar, but essentially for me, I'm either full on mode or full off mode. That's
Okay.
it. Like I'm full on mode, yet full in the laundry, putting it away, doing dishes, cleaning the playroom up, raking leaves outside. I mean, we're getting after it. Um, but then when like I am done, yeah, I'm done. I can absolutely just sit and watch a movie. I can sit and read a book. Um, you know, pray a rosary. If I'm writing a little something, editing it, that's relaxation to me.
Mhm.
You know, but it's all or nothing for sure, and I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. I think that's a decent way to be. Um,
Well, let me ask you
yeah,
this though, in a very different way, obviously.
sure.
Do you find that those kind of days where you're full 100% on task after task after task, is that cup filling for you as well?
It's cup filling in the sense that I know I'm serving my family. And right now, in this stage of life, acts of service are my wife's love language because she's home with the kids. There are a lot of things to do. There is a invisible checklist. We
Mhm.
don't live and die by it, but it's there. There's the day to days that are non negotiable. I mean, you have to. But when I'm like that and doing those things, I know that I'm serving my wife. And that's great. The I I don't want this to sound negative. I'm not gonna say it's like cup filling when I can when I lay my head on the pillow at night and I've done those things, I do feel glad I did them. I feel like I'm a good husband. I am
Yeah.
trying, but what really like makes me feel rested in that like type A in those type A hours of the day is more so like, well, I got that stuff done, but now I can go and like get this part of the yard cleaned up and ready for
Mhm.
spring. And like our house and yard look better now. And I can see
Yeah.
this thing and I really feel like it was more like a separate accomplishment. And that's a little more cup filling. So that being said, like, on a Sunday after mass, like we come home and we do breakfast and uh, you know, the youngest goes down for the nap, the older two up. Well, like I can take them out to the front yard and break some leaves and they're playing and piddling, get something done, just kind of, keep the eye on them. And that's not um like just sitting on the couch, but you're allowed to do that on a Sunday, like
Mhm.
just this, easy little chore and you can, serve your family, hang out, be with your kids, be outside. Being outside is great,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm a big believer in that for sure. Does that make sense?
Oh, for sure. No, I
Okay.
ask because, in a very similar sense, it's cup filling in that way because you put your head on the pillow, you were productive, you served your family, just like you just said. You get that little bit of selfish pride of like, good job, dude.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
did what you were supposed to be. Like
Yep.
your wife didn't have to do that,
Well,
didn't have to worry about that. So
yes. And I think that's okay to feel that, you just can't, you know, we're all equal. Can't, we're all unworthy.
yeah, you
You
start
just
giving
gotta
too
like,
many
yeah.
pats on the back,
Yep.
you got to
No.
change things up real quick. 3 chores in the Birch house that you will never catch your wife doing. Go. That it's always you, and if it wasn't, if your wife had to do it, you'd be ashamed. Go.
Well, she'll never mow the lawn, obviously.
That's one
Like
for
that's
me.
all mine,
Yep.
of course. Um,
We can do 2 if you want.
no, it's all good. I am the trash person, but every now and then, like, yes, like I can't just say my wife doesn't do that, but like every Sunday night, like I collect the trash,
Mm,
bang it, I take it to the stuff. Every now and then, she's just like, I just want to be with you, and she'll roll one out with me, or she'll grab a bag for me. She's not above that by any
mhm.
means, but that's by far my chore on the 95% of the time for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the lawn and the trash and oh, funny, I'm definitely almost all the time. I'm the toilet paper restocker. That's me.
Okay.
That's why that's a big
That's
Alex one right
oddly
there.
specific.
It is oddly
Yeah.
specific. I know. I'm
That
just
that
going
one
on it.
usually just is the luck of the draw. Like, were you there when that last roll was used?
Sure, but like she's like I feel like she's so busy at home. She like puts the old new one on and doesn't even realize. Like it's just she's doing
Yeah.
too much,
That's true.
and so like I come and I see it, so I do it, restock them. That's definitely an Alex toward there.
Yeah.
She'll probably chuckle when she hears that for sure. Yeah,
Mowing the grass, definitely.
of course.
Trash, I completely agree with you. Like, doesn't mean she never does it and won't do it. It just means that I try my best that she doesn't have to.
Yep.
That includes My arch nemesis, breaking down cardboard boxes. Just can't stand doing that. But, Christmas time.
Yep.
It's a little harder than other times in the year.
'Tis the season.
Everybody knows that feeling. Trying to think of another one. Honestly, and this is the same kind of preface that we just did for the trash, making breakfast.
Okay.
I really enjoy getting up and making breakfast for my family. Tess makes a phenomenal breakfast. Don't get me wrong. We even had breakfast for dinner, and it was all her.
6.
Fantastic. But yeah, like Monday through Friday, that's my morning job.
Right.
I get up, we say our rosary.
Yep.
And I get breakfast done.
Dope.
So.
Dope. Do you feel like rest is hard to come by sometimes? Or do you feel like you get it consistently,
I don't get it as often as I'd like. I would argue that most people don't. I find it easier, though, to conflate rest with laziness.
Okay.
At this point in my life, like, I don't have time for laziness.
Sure.
I do have time for rest.
Got it.
Because like we've already touched on, like rest doesn't have to be doing nothing. Rest doesn't have to be me on the couch watching a movie. I can be in the backyard and I can go on a walk with my wife and kid and still feel rested. But that can easily be mistaken for laziness. Like I think part of my mood this afternoon, knowing that I was just exhausted, was I was craving more lazy time than I was craving rest.
Yeah.
True rest.
Well, here's the big question of the whole episode. Are we resting right now?
Yeah, I think we
are. High five.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Great no, success. This is rest.
It is. Because this is cup filling, bro.
Coming over here, like, it is cup filling. Yeah. Well, I think, I don't get time to be lazy. And if I do, it becomes a problem because husbands, men, we're not meant to be that way outside of teenage years. Really shouldn't be doing it as a teenager, but Lord knows I did. Raise your hand if you were a teenager and slept past 10 o'clock in the morning.
Woo-wee.
Dude, it was not uncommon for me to push 12 o'clock in the afternoon. If I was able to sleep, if nobody came and got me,
sure,
I wasn't getting out of bed. Now, like Alex says,
I could do that to save my life.
Dude, I would take 7 o'clock on the dot and just sign a contract that I can sleep that long.
Oh, yeah. So 7, if that was like you're guaranteed that every day, like sure thing. Check.
Blessing.
Just to have it. Yeah. I mean, I'm getting up earlier than it most days anyways, so just, 7 be guaranteed. Folks, Ryan and I were kind of chatting and reflecting, we had thoughts earlier. We were getting down with this episode and, there's definitely, the Catholic Church has things to say about rest. That's what I should say. Flip your Bibles open to Genesis and it's right there. In the beginning, what did the Lord do on the 7th day? He rested. Jesus actually, as y'all heard in the opening verse, tells all who are weary to come and he will give them rest. Jesus also even talked about, of course, remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy. And he tells the apostles in Mark 6:31, come away by yourselves to a deserted place and rest a while. Jesus knew that we needed rest, knows that we need rest. He knew his disciples needed rest, and Jesus needed rest. Jesus, I can't imagine how many people, the Bible talks about it over and over, came to him, and when he tried to go away, people would run to him and bring their sick and maimed and disabled. And I can't imagine it. I see 15 patients in a day, and that's a full day. Jesus is seen 15 times, I don't know, 150? Who knows? But I can only imagine how tired he was because, fully divine, fully human. And I really appreciate our Lord. Our Lord challenges us so much and there's so many lessons he teaches us. But the fact that he does say rest and that he's going to give it to us too is really very, very childlike comforting, which I appreciate.
I will I want to jump here on the Sabbath though, because it took other people in my life, even as I would have I would have told you that I was back into the church, very, very dedicated to my faith. But it was not uncommon for me to you know, save some work that I could have done earlier in the week for Sunday and have to do that, which takes up time away from true rest and honoring the Sabbath. It's like, this sounds really bad. I apologize, but it's almost one of the commandments that you're just like, it's not that serious. Like,
Sure, I know
come
what you mean.
on.
Yeah.
Is
It's like, I
it?
went to church and that's it.
Yeah, I went to church. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
who cares if, now I have to get home and I have to cut the grass and I have to do my lesson plans and I have to get this and this and this done for tomorrow. Is like, well, it doesn't matter. I went to church. I honored the Sabbath. But no, it's not. Sure, it might be the the epicenter of your Sunday. It's the source and summit of what we do, going to mass on that Sunday. But I abused cutting the grass on Sundays.
Yeah.
I would leave it for that day, and it took specific men and people around me to live a different example for me to then realize oh, you're choosing to do these things on the day that the Lord asked you not to.
No, that makes a ton of sense. And I think, you went to mass. I mean, I was in a very similar position once too, went to mass. But then the rest of the day, was God really there with you? Or
No.
of course he was, but did you acknowledge him? Did you try to bring him into those moments? Exactly.
Had a Joe Rogan podcast on in my ears while I'm cutting the grass.
Exactly, brother. Yeah. So that brings us to Saint number one, Saint Augustine. Everyone knows this quote just about, our hearts are restless until they rest in you, O Lord. So that's the baseline point right there. Rest, true rest in its truest form, most real form, is resting in and with the Lord. That can mean you're doing dozens of different things, but that the Lord is there with you. He is present in what you're doing, whether, you're just acknowledging he's there, you're doing something for him, offering up something to him, doing something for others. What Jesus said, of course, about what you've done for the least you've done for me. So yeah, true rest includes God. That's something to think about for sure. Let me ask you, kids napping now, so it's just you or you and Tess. What are the obvious go-to ways you like to relax or chill? What do you do? There are hundreds, but what are the go-tos?
Right now, making me really, really long for some of this because
Oh,
I
sure.
don't think very many married couples get truly as much time as they'd like to together. But right now, prayer, especially in the morning, it might not be nap time, like you said in this example question, but in the morning when he's still sleeping, we will get together and pray first, which has been really, really great.
Yep, huge.
But sometimes it is, man. Sometimes it is just that mind numbing. Like I said, we've been watching a little bit of Game of Thrones when we can through Lent, and sometimes that is just nice for us to just be side by side, and we both enjoy the show and snuggle a little bit and watch until we're tired. Other times it's just catching up.
Yeah.
There are those ships passing type days.
Yep.
Series of days sometimes when you're really unfortunate, where you finally just get a second, and sometimes it's as simple as hey, do you want to see these pictures I took of our son at the park with such and such friends?
Sure.
So those are really special times too. But yeah, that's what we do lately when we get a second. What about you guys?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I think about sitting on the couch and her feet are on my thighs and we're just, chatting. That's go-to for sure. Definitely reading. Love to read. I've kind of got 3 different things peeked into right now, and I'm just chipping away at all of them. One's a book of reflection, one's actual book, and then um, another one is like a book of essays. So just like read one, So easier things, but really enjoyable things. Always, I know you read too, so you get that. Watching something, of course, is cool. A little bit of writing every now and then. Um,
When you
folk
say writing, are you handwriting or are you typing?
type in most of the,
Yeah.
pretty much all the time.
Still
Yeah, for
very,
sure.
still the
Yeah.
same outlet.
Oh, of course. Yeah. It's, modern for sure, but it's
Yeah.
still nice.
Let me get you a typewriter.
That'd be awesome. The sound would probably be relaxing. I'm not gonna lie.
Not to your wife.
Oh,
No, I'm definitely getting it for you.
do it. But a huge relaxer, no questions asked, is exercise by far, by far.
Yeah.
I start my day that way most days of the week. Um, either that or going to adoration, um, which is that's elite platinum relaxation and rest right there. But exercise, y'all have heard me say it before, folks. It's the best sleep aid. It's the best mental health aid. We got, you know, one of the doctors in my practice said to me one time, if we just closed one afternoon, one day a week, and told all of our patients just to go outside for a walk, a good walk, it would do them better than anything we have for them here. And it's true. I mean,
That's
it's
a crazy thing to
so
think about.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 100% true. So yesterday, I'm doing a rosary every day right now. It's part of my Lenten deal. And man, it was awesome. Yesterday afternoon, I went outside and we have this janky little wooden bench, but I laid down on it, put my feet up and said the rosary, but the sun was shining. It was like 73 degrees and it was really nice. I have
I
to say,
believe that.
it was great. It's not
There's
exercise,
nothing
but it was
this
awesome.
time of year. There's nothing better than like a little outdoor snooze.
Mhm.
I don't have a real great place for that at my house, but at my parents' house one time, I went out on the back porch. Like I don't even know if anybody knew I went out there. Just laid
Oh,
on
really?
their outdoor
Nice.
patio sofa, and I was like, I'm out. I'm out for like 40 minutes, but that was nice.
Probably the biggest relaxation. Yeah, I think I fell asleep for like maybe 5 minutes after I finished it. But, you know, certainly just time like outside kind of hanging out, watching the kids play, grilling something super relaxing. Um, Man, time with you guys and friends, that's
Mhm.
just so great when we all get together and just have time to talk and hang out and share food and you know fellowship. That's elite as well for sure.
Definitely. I think that's one of the things I'm most grateful for. I touched on learning from the example of people around me. That's you. That's the other families around us that we're so blessed to see all the time. Um, but just seeing the way that our extended domestic church honors the Sabbath just brings such a smile to my face. Like on any given weekend, you can bet that one family is hosting somebody over for pancakes. You know who I'm talking about.
Word,
And I've been there, and those pancakes are so flipping
they
good.
are
My
so good.
goodness. Tess and I are convinced he does something that he's not telling us.
They're so good.
He says it's just because he uses buttermilk, but
Right?
that's a lie. So he does something.
Yeah, they're so good.
Anyway, um, that same weekend, you can bet that another beautiful family is hosting people over for a big breakfast.
Hmm.
And, that afternoon, somebody's going to have a play date with the other family, and
Hmm.
we might have dinner that evening. And it's just a constant crisscross of hospitality and love that just bounces around our parish. And it's just such a great thing, that little carousel of like, I love having the normal ones, the regulars, we know we're gonna see the Birches and probably have dinner with them once every couple weeks,
For sure, it's
But
great.
then like out of the blue when my wife is like, "Hey, we're gonna have dinner with such and such." I'm like, "Oh, sweet. I haven't seen them." I'm often worse at reaching out to people and keeping in contact than my wife can be. And so it's like, "Oh, awesome. Thank you."
Yes,
I need to see those people too.
yes.
So
And something I want to say about that too. Like, I think Lucy and I have mentioned recently in conversations that there are changes we have made in our life that have leaps and bounds made our lives more positive. And one of them is definitely making an effort to keep Sundays more chill, less cluttered, not busy. Um, I think about the um really y'all and the Wells are probably the two biggest ones that have been an influence there for us. Um, and it has helped us a ton. And there's a huge comfort waking up on Sunday knowing that, okay, mass, breakfast, family time. But like, no, I'm not gonna like go to Lowe's or Home Depot and like have
Mhm.
to do this whole thing and then like, dig a trench, fix a fence, do the yard. Like that's done the day before. We're gonna
Yeah.
do it. Like that's such a comfort. And I think obviously everybody's schedule is different. So sometimes you have to maybe spread that out, or that has to be a different day that week. I used to be a 12-hour shift nurse. You got to work weekends. And I remember Father Bill Skanecki telling me, Alex, it's okay. I know you guys have to work all day Saturday, all day Sunday, every other week. Like, you can't go to mass that day. It just is what it is. Like it's okay. We were talking about that one day. And I appreciated him telling me that. I'm sure there are people out there who disagree with
I was
that.
gonna say,
Yeah.
do you wonder if
But
there are priests who
I, no, but like, that's the job, man.
for
It is what
sure,
it is.
for
Yeah, that
sure.
is what it is. I mean, would I have much have gone? Of course, yes.
Yeah.
But like that was what was required of
I
me.
don't mean
Yeah.
to judge you.
No,
I
it's
just
not a judgment. Yeah, yeah.
hearing you say that a priest said that, I'm like, somebody's gonna argue against
Oh,
that.
sure, no doubt. Yeah,
100%.
and that's I'm open to conversation always. Yeah, that's just what was told to me.
No, yeah.
But the point I was getting at more fully is rest includes rest from the anxiety and stressors that are in your life every single day. Obviously, if you have, a sick family member, financial stress, there's stresses that are always going to be there in that regard. But the work and practice and errands and all that stuff, what you mentioned, not being lazy, being disciplined, being a servant, it's really good to be that way. Basically, I'm all about putting yourself in a position to succeed.
Mm.
And if you do that stuff during the week, if you, make good use of your time, well, then yes, Sunday is going to be a day of rest and you can really focus on that good stuff. It's always nice to have something to look forward to, during the week. Sure. Yeah.
It's
And
your
it's,
it's your mindset starting the Sabbath, right?
uh
When you know that you're not going to allow anything to creep in, that is going to be a day of rest. That is your day with the Lord and with your family and extended family and friends. But when you wake up that way, as opposed to someone who might wake up and you might go to church every single Sunday, but you're also going to, you're going to go to Lowe's and you're going to finish that project and you got a little bit of work to do and things like
mhm,
that. Everything is still tense.
sure.
So you're not like, and it's all subconscious, but like you're not going to truly invest in the words of the mass. You're not going to truly dive into the meaning of the scripture or what was your priest or pastor talking about in the homily. Like you're already distracted, and I'm not preaching at you guys because I've already spelled out for you. I have done this 1,000 times. I'll probably do it again at some point in my life. But there's no better way to get what you're supposed to get out of mass, get what you're supposed to get out of holy rest than to be intentional about it.
Yeah,
Because if you're not, you'll find an excuse to do something and
for sure. For sure.
get sidetracked. So,
And I think we're all victims of, or guilty of, I should say, um, you know, the obvious, like putting too much on our plates, saying yes to too much. So like everybody, this is your sign. Say no. Don't sign up for that thing. Just because everybody is playing T-ball doesn't mean your kids have to, like if they're
yeah,
4,
man.
they really don't care. I'll be honest. No, nothing against T-ball. I play T-ball. T-ball is very entertaining, but I'm just saying, if you're that stretched, you don't have to do every single thing. You really, really don't.
I agree. So, in a different way, like Alex being a 12-hour shift nurse, and there are plenty of people with schedules like that. God bless you. Those are things you can't really skip. But like, I got to the point this year where like I told one of my coaches that I'm not coming to Sunday practices. I can't.
Yep.
I want to.
Mhm.
I want to be there to help and to fulfill my obligation and duty to the team. But it's like my schedule is so crazy hectic. No, I'm not. That's family time. And there were still like battles back and forth, but
you prioritized what you needed to do, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
I was gonna tie that back to what you just said, but I'm like, so yeah, just if you're in a position where you can make some of those choices, it might sting on the front end, but it's so worth it.
Another thing I've been thinking about lately too is, and especially on Sundays and Saturdays too, I guess, but during the week it's so go, and you want to have that time and a way to kind of be lazy, to just sit and or do the things that we talk about, not really be lazy, but you want to feel like you're resting. Sometimes you're resting, but you don't really feel like you're resting,
Yeah.
and so you want that true like still time. Because I mean we're made to move. I always say that to my patients, but we also need to be still too. You just like talking about your retreat, like stillness, silence, those are really important things. And with, little children, we don't get either one of those things too often. But I think about especially my sons, but really all three of them. I mean, they're little kids, they have so much energy. But like they are exploring the world and they're learning so much. And it's cool. Really, really cool. Especially with my daughter now that she's 4 and how much she can converse about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the things she notices. And the middle one, he's getting there too. He's 2.5 now, more and more. But like they want to go and get after it. And I can be tempted for sure to think, oh, like, I want to sit still. I want to rest. But then I think about them and like their joy and their cups are filling up so much. And it makes me realize, not all rest is being still. Not all rest is being silent. And we've touched about, in the past 30 minutes about many things that are rest, that are not still, but you also have to make a choice to enjoy it too and acknowledge it, even if it's maybe not the exact rest you want in that moment. You know, think about like the book Wild at Heart. Boys, they want to climb and jump and fall and throw. And I've been really looking at my son now and seeing all this stuff he does and realizing like this is a little boy being a boy. Obviously, you have to teach him to control things and not be destructive and not hurt people. Taking a rock, throwing it in someone's general direction, not safe. Don't want anybody to get an eye or a skull fracture. But um, he's like living according to his nature, and that's really cool to see that I have this little part in it and can help him learn about the world and where God is in the world, where He is in the world is it's an honor. So
Oh,
it's something I'm thinking about. Yeah.
my son's at that stage where he's testing the boundaries of like, if I throw a tantrum right now, will it work?
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
So
Oh, what you mean?
the sweet little angel that he is can get frustrated and pitch a little fit and like take his tiny little hand and slap the refrigerator,
Oh yeah,
hit the cabinet. Now it's like those are the moments though that will really bring you to will really bring to the forefront like make a choice now as a dad what kind of dad you're going to be.
oh yeah, for sure. Man.
Like even he's not even a year and a half yet, but when he has a fit like that, there's a part of my natural instinct that's like, son,
Oh yeah, sure.
like stern,
Of course.
fix it. And you got to step off the gas a little bit. And yeah, had a moment like that earlier. He, to no fault of his own, he got his baby bottle out. Boys being boys, he got his baby bottle out, started throwing it all over the place. And then he wanted water in it. So I filled it up with water, whatever. And he was walking around the house, and I'm thinking to myself, he knows how to take tops off. Like at some point, he's going to twist that top off and dump all the water all over the floor. And I'm honestly surprised it took as long as it did, but that's exactly how it ended. Yep. And when he did, and he poured it all over himself, I gotta go change his clothes, change his diaper, get him dried off. So I'm walking, I pick up the bottle, and I like just out of frustration, I spiked it into the sink, and of course, when I'm trying to, I'm not angry. I guess I have to say I was a little angry at myself, really. But of course, that bottle's not going to settle in the sink. It's going to hit the sink and then bounce out and ricochet off the wall. And then my wife's going to look at it and be like, "Are you kidding me? Like, why are you this upset?" Boys being boys, it doesn't stop when you're 34 years old. But you did mention, sorry for the old Donald Trump weave there.
No, you're great.
You did mention nature, being outside. Is laziness more acceptable when you're in nature? Like, is it, to me, I'm going to let you answer, but like, what's more acceptable? Sitting and being still and not moving, not being productive on a couch, or at the top of the hill you just hiked, or mountain that you just did, or over, you know what I mean?
So I'll say this. The real truth, in my opinion, the actual truth is that whether you're sitting on the couch or sitting outside in your yard or on a hill, it's the same. It's the same. The truth is, too, when you're in your house, you're looking around and seeing all these things you could do, and you're going to feel like it's not okay. Whereas when you're outside, those things aren't there, and you're just out in nature enjoying it more. And certainly, if you've walked up a hill and get to sit and rest, well, like, I exercised, I've earned this too. And honestly, I think there's some truth to that too, but that's just like doing something a little hard. It's good for you. It's reaching a little goal of the day. So all about that. We have like a 2-mile lap, and we'll do different distances versions of that sometimes, but taking the older two and just actually making them walk and just going at their pace, and just, you stop. It's like walking a dog. They're going to smell everything. No, they're just looking at
keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Sometimes you really got to keep it moving. Yeah. But watching them there's hills in the neighborhood, one especially by the junior high, 7th through 9th. And they love doing that, run in the field. They go look at the school buses and tap on the sides and the wheels, and just seeing them explore is so fun. When I go into it being like, I don't care how fast we go. Like, we're just going to go and let them do it. I just am there to make sure they're safe and supervised. That's a great time, man. Because then if they're walking 2 miles, they're going to get home ravenous, eat, and then they're PTSD and 4 naps. It's a good time. I might have to do that.
That sounds really nice. I'm gonna bring little man over. We're gonna do that together.
We should definitely do that.
He can't walk quite as fast as yours can.
No, but you just have the stroller, pop in and out. It'd be a great time.
The other day, we my students had a dress rehearsal, so all the second graders from our feeder school came over to watch the first rendition of the play.
Right, yep.
And so, as a gift for all their hard work and stuff, our administration, keeping on theme, brought the zoo to our school. So they called the ecology preserve.
Okay.
The ecology preserve brought some little tiny turtles, a snake, a hissing cockroach from Madagascar.
Yeah, sure. Madagascar. Yep.
They called the Pine Mountain Animal Safari over in Georgia.
Okay.
And so they brought like a peacock, a macaw, some South American cousin to a raccoon, which was like, it kind of looks like an anteater, but I couldn't even tell you what it's called. I'll look it up later.
Okay.
Really cool though. Then Choctawala brought over donkey, goats, camel, little tiny horse, you name it, the whole petting zoo.
Oh yeah.
And finally, drum roll, please. That's the worst drum roll I've ever sounded in my life. The Auburn Raptor Center.
Oh, I was hoping.
So excited. My wife makes fun of me. So does all my family members. I'm a low-key birder.
Birds are awesome.
I think it's super cool. Raptors are spectacular. So there was a little screech owl, the tiny one with the little feathers that stick up.
Oh yeah.
Yep, that thing's awesome. The falcon.
Yes.
Which is one of the pictures on the side of their van.
Yes.
Really, really cool.
The peregrine falcon?
No, they
Not the
do
dive
have a
bomber? They
peregrine
do? We
falcon,
saw it, yeah,
but
yeah.
they said it's old, so they don't travel with
Okay,
that one.
gotcha.
You guys went to the
See
Raptor
what I'm
Center,
saying?
so you got to see it.
Time out. Anybody who lives in Auburn, doesn't matter if you're a fan or not. If you haven't gone to the Auburn Raptor Center, watch it's every home football Friday. I think it starts at 4. It's 4 or 5. Find out. Sorry, I don't know. I think it's 4 though. It's an hour-long show. They bring all the birds out. They're flying. Awesome time. Awesome time. Go check it out. Yes.
So the falcon was sweet. Red-tailed hawk.
Oh yeah, super cool.
Always cool.
We had one of those on our fence a few months ago, which was really cool.
Red-tails are awesome. I actually see more Cooper's hawks over in my
I could see that. That makes
woods,
sense, yeah.
And then Independence. Bald eagle, man. I legitimately went up and asked the guy, I was like, can I hold him? Like, I'll wear the glove.
Absolutely.
He thought I was joking, and I was like, but really, like, the students just went inside. Like, come on.
Yeah, come on real quick.
Not going to happen.
Yeah, no, those birds are protected like the president.
So I brought up, we'll get back on target here in a second, guys. But I had a buddy of mine that used to get irate over the fact that the Auburn Raptor Center would fly our Eagles to Philadelphia to do the Philadelphia flight in the stadium.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's BS. That's our thing. Like, that's ridiculous. So I brought it up to the guy. I said, Independence is one that has flown in Philadelphia, right? And he was like, yeah. So I explained how my buddy was so irate about that. And he goes, if he wants to match the donation that the Eagles give us to bring those birds up for a flight, he's welcome to do it, and we will keep those birds here. He's like, but until he realizes that it costs $70,000 to feed these birds, one of these Eagles per year is $70,000 to feed a year.
Wow.
I was like, holy crap. Keep going to Philly.
Love
Go
that
to
money.
every stadium that has an Eagle mascot ever. Just
love that money. Oh, man.
yeah,
wow.
That was really cool. The kids thought it was really, really special. But the whole reason I started saying this was Tess was able to bring Dean to the play, which was a little longer than an hour. So he just stood in the back and ran around, and so much to see. Kids were great with him. And so he was already on like level 9 stimulation. That's yes. Right. Thank you for the word I was looking for. And then we went outside and he bounced around all these little zoo exhibits. He got in the car for like a minute and a half. Out cold.
Amazing.
So,
John Bosco, run, jump, shout, but do not sin. End quote. It's a great quote.
That's a pretty good one.
Keep your eyes fixed toward God, my friends.
What was the quote our buddy Zeke said at the meeting? St. Augustine. I did it again. St. Augustine. Okay, Here's the deal, guys. If you're listening to this, I'm going to put a poll on this episode, okay? Spotify listeners, for sure. And in this poll, I want you to click on how you grew up pronouncing. Was it St. Augustine or was it St. Augustine? And if you really want to help me out, argument's sake, hit us in the comments and let me know where you're from.
Yes.
Because I grew up in New Jersey, as many of you know, and I grew up saying St. Augustine.
Well, there's a certain high school in New Orleans that happens to go by the same pronunciation. So, yes.
But I get rocked every time I say Augustine in front of somebody down here. They're like, it's Augustine, you idiot. Snobby.
Everybody just calm down and rest.
But anyway, he said something about like walking. Yeah, the quote, I had to look it up. Sorry. The quote was, and Zeke said it in Latin, which
Zeke's a dog.
He's a fancy guy, you know? Yep. Of course he would. But it's basically, it just says it is solved by walking. Like if you're under spiritual attack, if you have a problem, you just have something you need to get off your chest, you're laying something down at the foot of the cross, go walk. It's always better.
Sure is. You know, go take a walk and cool off, go take a walk to think, go take a walk to look for inspiration. I mean, walking it's one of the first major things we learn to do as a person. And, you know, you think about abilities, like losing the ability to walk would be one of the worst things you could lose in a lot of ways. I'd rather lose an eye or an ear than lose my ability to walk for sure. Definitely. That's easy. So,
Oh,
I don't know. It just makes sense. It's hard to explain. It just makes sense. Yeah, that's what I think. Um, we talked about trips earlier, and at the time this will come out, you were going to be on a trip, having a good spring break. Well, I'm going to be slaving away working, but that's all right. You deserve it. You do.
yeah, the
So,
perks of being a teacher.
boom, love it. So, trips, folks. I know I talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but trips can be very, very relaxing and wonderful, and family time and catching up and seeing extended family and friends. I hope everyone's lucky enough to have friends they'd like to vacation with. Just saying. Um, what's the what's the best trip you've ever been on? What's your favorite one?
Hmm.
You can give me three if you want to. Some context.
So it's kind of an unfair answer was like me and my siblings. I may have mentioned this before, but me and my siblings, all four of us, took a 31 day road trip together. A lot of campgrounds, some hotels, um, went to major cities, major national parks, and baseball stadiums. Like from here all the way out west, and you name it. Just
Awesome trip,
so
man.
that was epic, and always will be at the top of my list because it was just something very few people probably get to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, saw some really really great stuff. Laughed all the time. Laughed a lot. Some stories we probably can't tell on the podcast, but we took a trip to Montana. I've mentioned on the show before. Did Glacier National with my grandmother. Turned out to be the last, big trip with my grandmother. She was so healthy. Even that trip, she was taking down like 10-mile hikes and things like that. At an older age, but miss her. But that's always a fun one to reflect on. I have different ones. Like my honeymoon's an easy answer. It was relaxing, but of course I drank my face off because I was at a different point in my life, and um, 5 days of drinking by the pool, followed by dehydration and a full body massage. I was feeling ill when I left.
Check.
We took a trip to 30A, just Tess and I in the off season. That was really fun. But again, got food poisoning, really ill when I left. So all this to say, I'm going to go with a trip we took. Tess was pregnant and we went down to 30A. We stayed in, wasn't Seaside, was right next to it? Seagrove.
Yeah.
Stayed right there. We were only like 4 blocks off the beach. We rented bikes. You know, we'd go to the beach together. We'd ride our bikes down into Seaside, have lunch.
Yep.
There was a small little pool for us to hang out. We cooked together. We played cards, that kind of thing. That's
Absolutely.
a good trip.
That's a great trip, man.
I
Yeah.
ramble. What about you?
I was still the first trip I was thinking about is my family's 2-week epic Yellowstone trip. Summer before junior year of high school, we went to Yellowstone and then we went to uh, Park City, Utah, where they had the '04 Winter Olympics, and it was summertime, of course, but it was just awesome. It was just a great trip. We drove from New Orleans to Yellowstone and back, so 3 days there, 3 days back, and everything in between. Just a lot of amazing things. Anybody who's been to that park knows. And Park City was cool too, doing the park and zip line and stuff. And my dad and my sister and I went on a hot air balloon ride. That was really cool.
That'd be
Yeah.
something I would be interested
Oh, it
in.
was super cool. It was a perfect day for it too. Um, but I think about my wife and I, travel nursing, we did all sorts of little trips. Our trip to Maine, still one of our absolute favorite trips. We were so not expecting anything, but everyone told us in Albany, New York, where the traveler's assignment was, you need to go, you need to go, you need to go. I used to like chuckle, like, why would you go to Maine? Like, what?
Basically Canada.
Yeah. And it exceeded our expectations every which way. Just such a great trip. But yeah, I grew up going to 30A every year. My grandmother and family, it was one house, then it became two houses, and it became three houses. We'd all split that and everything. And just a 1 week, a Saturday to a Saturday, they were all on the beach, walk out onto
Wow.
it.
Can't
And
beat it.
just tons of family time memories. Grew up doing it, you know, never took it for granted. It was a highlight of the year every year. It's beautiful down there. And Yeah, a lot of really, really good memories. Need to get back down there soon.
I love the
Yeah,
mountains or beach. Like and I'm not saying like you have to die on this hill for the rest of your life, but like
sure.
if someone came up to you and said, "I'm booking you a vacation next week. You have to pick beach or mountains. Go." What are you
It'd be
gonna
the
pick?
beach for sure. Yeah, definitely.
I kind of lean that way too, but I think like there's not much separation though. Like
No, it's not a win by a mile. No, it's a win by a nose or a
I think about
face.
your folks,
Oh, exactly. That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
nature, looking over the tree line.
Yeah. I'm pumped because I'm about to get that. That's going to be the
Ah,
spot to go to. Obviously, you'll be coming up there with us. Um,
yeah, Hoss, you better have a bed for me. No, I'm just kidding.
that's what they're working on right now. They're there right now, getting that place set up, man.
Uh,
My folks, everybody, are moving to Blairsville, Georgia, North Georgia. The house is done, and they're getting things furnished. It'll be crazy that they're leaving New Orleans. Big change for our family, but my wife and kids and I are excited because instead of driving 5.5 hours, we get 3.5 hour drive. We kind of win in the geographical sense, and
heck yeah.
we got to go up there Labor Day weekend last year and see it. My uncle Steven already lives up there, whom we love and adore. My kids are obsessed with Uncle Steven now, and um, uh, get a taste for the place. It's small, but you know spread out, because things are up on mountains, everything. And me coming home, coming from New Orleans, below sea level, rocking it. Then you're driving up to this new house, and I'm like, we're still going up. Oh my gosh. And it's not even that high. People laugh at me. It's like, 2,300 feet up, which isn't that high, but it's a lot different. But man, I got a view. It's an awesome, little Appalachia view with some sweet little rolling mountains in the distance. And it's going to be a great place to wake up and get
And
some family
rest.
time and rest. Yes.
Whoa.
To kind of keep this going, but start to sort of close it up, folks. Another thing Ryan and I, you know, jotted down here was real rest in its truest sense. Like we said, Jesus is present in it, um, and love is present in it. And obviously, God is love. I'm stating the obvious, but you have to let him in, and you also have to choose to love him back and to love the people around you. The, the point I'm trying to make, Ryan will help me, is in true rest, in true refilling your cup, in true being present in the time. If you want to get the most out of it, you need to be fully present and love those around you. And I think we've given a dozen ways on scenarios where you can do that, but you have to want to do that and choose to do that too. Because you can rest in God's love. But like St. Therese said, without love, deeds, even the most brilliant of them, count as nothing. So whether you're working outside, helping your kids with something, cooking for your family, going to the potluck with friends, like you can't show up as a shell of yourself. You have to love, because when you love, you're loving our Lord, whether it's through others or in spending time with Him. Yeah, man. What comes to mind?
Pretty much everything we talked about,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
What we're talking about on this episode doesn't have to just be on a Sunday. We spent a lot of time talking about the right way for us to handle our Sundays, but like if I can get that kind of rest and quality time and rest in God's love with my loved ones on a Thursday night,
Yeah,
I'm gonna dang do that. It
sure.
sounds incredible.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's such a good point. Yeah.
It just so happens that our Lord loves us so much that He hands us one day and says, "Take it,
Yeah.
use it, please. I'm showing you." God didn't have to rest, He was just
Right.
like, "Here, this is for you.
Mm-hmm.
Take it."
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, we
He
abuse
spells it
it.
out for
Yeah, He
us.
spells it
He
out,
spells
and
it
we
out.
still
Yeah.
abuse it. But I don't think our Lord is above. Like you just said, He is love. So why would He judge me for taking some time on a Tuesday night to like have this kind of experience? So
Definitely.
But yeah, as long as your priorities are straight, you're in God's love.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's just incredible, man. To think about it that way. I think that's where I kind of my mind went as we close this episode up, was just how incredible it is that a Lord who doesn't need rest, who is outside of space and time, still rested just to set an example.
That's right.
So,
because he knows what we need.
And then send his son here, who realistically, we can all imagine he was 100% human, so he did need to rest. Don't get me twisted here. But like, God could have snapped his fingers and been like, yeah, he's my son. He doesn't have to feel fatigue.
Sure.
Like, but no, he had to rest.
Mm-hmm.
He showed us the right way to do it. So don't do it all the time. I don't do it right all the time. It's a work in progress.
It is. Just figure out how you like to rest. Try to, carve out some time for it, especially on Sunday if you can. Make a little plan if you need to. Have someone to rest with if you need to. We talk about holding each other accountable in goals and workouts and more, but have someone hold you accountable with rest. Someone who's going to look at you and say, stop.
Yeah, slow down.
Slow down. Rest.
Especially on Sunday.
Exactly.
But not only.
Not only, yeah. Ryan and I get to our rest together every Wednesday night when we record these things. And on this night, Thursday. Sometimes it's Tuesday.
Mixing it.
Keep you on your toes. Don't matter. But
we appreciate all y'all listening to us. And I will take your prayers for this 8-hour one way, so 16-hour round trip in the car with a 17-month-old. And the first time we went down to Disney, he was much younger. That drive was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. Like, my wife was in tears a lot of that drive.
Yeah,
it was so hard to do. So hopefully that goes much better. But we're gonna have a great time. We're only doing one park down there in Disney. My family, we grew up, it was like park hoppers. We had that dang thing scheduled. We had this lightning pass and that lightning pass. We ran from, we attacked those parks. I'd get like 25,000 steps a day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And this time it's like, we're on my son's pace.
Yep.
We're going to go in, we're going to enjoy the sights and sounds and pictures and this and that. And we're going to chill by the pool. Might even play a little bit of golf.
That's great.
Come back with a decent tan.
That's right. I hope you get to rest.
I hope you
feel rushed
while you're at work.
I'm
going to rub it in. I'm going to call you
right
from the pool and just
do
be
it.
like, how you doing, senor?
And be like, well, I'm slow, folks. I didn't have a good one because, well, I'll be honest, it wasn't podcast appropriate.
I was going to use your insult for
Dr.
Dr. Coleman, but it's not podcast.
It's not. Yeah, we're in the gutters now. You guys need to get rid of us. Press stop. Go listen to some worship music or something.
But before you do that, at least click the subscribe or follow button and throw us a rating. Before we start off, I do want to give you the age old in our bio, Word on Fire. Check that stuff out. If you've never checked it out, please do. And you'll help support us. T-shirts are still on the website. Check those out too. Sincere request for prayers for a dear friend of ours from church whose wife is continuing to fight a very courageous fight against pancreatic cancer. And obviously for privacy reasons, I'm not going to launch their names out here, but very, 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 very beautiful family and a very large need for prayers in their lives. So please jump on that prayer train with us and pray for our good friend from church.
Yes. And as your double challenge from us both, everybody has to take 30 minutes for the next 7 days, find a thing that you're going to do to relax and do it. 30 minutes for the next 7 days at minimum. Go for more. That'd be awesome.
Do more.
At least 30 minutes. Yes.
With this weather, man, that we're getting lately, make it outdoors. Sounds lovely. It really
is. We got our first bug flying to the house. the other day.
Dude,
Yeah, so it's
around here,
Mhm.
we're signing off, folks. You have to listen to all this. Do you get these dang mosquito hawks that are
Heck
just
yeah, that's the boat I'm talking about.
man, they are giant,
I
number
killed it.
one,
Yep.
but it's like overnight they all just hatch. And
Yes.
just they're everywhere.
We're out prowling.
Can't get I just want to kill them all. I need the old school bug zapper outside.
Oh yeah,
The good news is Billy eats them.
Oh, that's awesome.
So if it flies low enough, I can call her over and
Yep.
she can't see it for a while, but eventually she'll snatch
Chomp
that
it.
thing.
That's good stuff.
My little attack dog. She doesn't do anything except kill bugs.
Cool. Well, you got her in your keep somehow.
Right.
Love you guys. You have our prayers. Pray for us. Thank y'all. Later. Later.